Well, I would ask you to go to any dictionary. Take the Webster's dictionary. I happen to have the full big one right here in the house. The word personal means related to a person. There's no distinction. Personal is simply the adjective from person. God is certainly personal, and God is certainly a non-human person. We went through that just now with the singular personal pronouns. He's one self, one individual, one person, and of course he's personal. All persons are personal. So I don't know really what the question is getting at there, but you can't have a personal something without it being related to a person. That's just a fact of plain English, I think.
Yeah, one example I heard, Anthony, was, well, you could have a personal letter.
Well, no, but the letter's not a person, but that's not what's meant there. A personal letter means
Right.
a letter addressed to you as a person or written by a person. Wouldn't matter.
Yeah, and this is all predicated. This type of arguments, these are predicated on this belief that when Trinitarians think of the one God, they're not really thinking in terms of an individual
No,
person, right?
no.
Because then that would mean three persons in one person. So they're too, quote, smart for that. Now, there is a system called modalism or oneness that they're not as sophisticated, but putting that aside. But what's interesting to me, so when they think of one God or the only God, the only true God, it's not really an individual, but it's like a substance. It's a stuff, Godish.
It's really a characteristic. And we all agree that the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, we all agree they have things in common. We know that they have things in common. But the one God is the Father.
Right. So they're thinking in terms of a nature, a substance, stuff, right? God stuff.
God stuff.
So it's interesting because then the first and greatest commandment, listen, Israel, the Lord our God is
one what?
Right. You read my mind. So it really should be the Lord our God is one what?
That's
is that
what,
correct?
Exactly right. That's what James White in his book tells us. He's describing the Trinity in the early chapters, and he says that God is three who's, WHO, in one WHAT. Well, God is not a what. There's no single text that ever comes close to saying that God is a what. He's always a father. He's always one super creator with singular personal pronouns. And then James White says, sometimes in the Bible, the word God means three persons in one. He doesn't give you any verse because there isn't one. Ask your friends to deal with that. Where does the word God in the whole of 31,000 verses in the Bible ever mean a triple God or a triune God? It's pure Greek philosophy, and scholars of the best order know that the Greek philosophical influence from Plato in the early church fathers after Bible times, they said we need to redefine God in terms of Greek philosophy. That was a disaster. Let's define God in the same terms as Jesus did, and the Shema is your answer to that. One Lord, one person.
They also cover it all with words like being.
Yeah.
Well, it's three persons in one being.
Yes.
So then you say, well, where does the Bible call God one being?
Never.
Or one nature, like you said?
Never.
And the interesting thing is that the opposite is true. God is a soul.
Yes, a self. Yes.
A self.
Yes.
A person, prosopon. There's talk about seeing the face of God, seeing the form of God.
Yeah.
All the theophanies are unipersonal, which is interesting.
Yes.